Bal Gangadhar Tilak, born as Keshav Gangadhar Tilak 23 July 1856 August 1, 1920, August 1, 1920, was an Indian nationalist, journalist, teacher, social reformer, lawyer and an independence activist. He was the first popular leader of the Indian independence movement. The British colonial authorities called him father of the Indian unrest. He was also conferred with the honorary title of Lokmanya, which literally means accepted by the people. Tilak was one of the first and strongest advocates of Swaraj, and a strong radical in Indian consciousness. His famous quote, "Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it," is well remembered in India even today. He also formed a close alliance with Muhammad Ali Jinnah, later the founder of Pakistan, during the Indian Home Rule movement. Early life: Tilak was born in a Chutbhavan Brahmin family in Ratnagiri, headquarters of the eponymous district of present-day Maharashtra. His father, Gangadhar Tilak, was a schoolteacher and a Sanskrit scholar who died when Tilak was 16. Young Keshav graduated from Deccan College, Pune in 1877. Tilak was amongst one of the first generation of Indians to receive a college education. In 1871 Tilak married Tapibai. After marriage her name was changed to Satyabhamabai. Tilak actively participated in public affairs. He stated, "Religion and practical life are not different. To take sannyasa is not to abandon life. The real spirit is to make the country your family work together instead of working only for your own. The step beyond is to serve humanity and the next step is to serve God." After graduating, Tilak started teaching mathematics at a private school in Pune. Later, due to ideological differences with the colleagues in the new school, he withdrew and became a journalist later. He organized the Deccan Education Society with a few of his college friends, including Gopal Ganeshagarkar, Mahadvalalal Joshi and Vishnu Shastri Chaplankar. Their goal was to improve the quality of education for India's youth. The Deccan Education Society was set up to create a new system that taught young Indians nationalist ideas through an emphasis on Indian culture. The society established the New English School for Secondary Education and Fergusson College in 1885 for post-secondary studies. Tilak taught mathematics at Fergusson College. He began a mass movement towards independence that was camouflaged by an emphasis on a religious and cultural revival. Political career: Indian National Congress. Tilak joined the Indian National Congress in 1890. He opposed its moderate attitude, especially towards the fight for self-government. He was one of the most eminent radicals at the time. Despite being personally opposed to early marriage, Tilak opposed the 1891 Age of Consent Bill, seeing it as interference with Hinduism and a dangerous precedent. The act raised the age at which a girl could get married from 10 to 12 years. During late 1896, a bubonic plague epidemic spread from Bombay to Pune, and by January 1897, it reached epidemic proportions. British troops were brought in to deal with the emergency and harsh measures were employed, including forced entry into private houses, examination of occupants, evacuation to hospitals and segregation camps, removing and destroying personal possessions, and preventing patients from entering or leaving the city. By the end of May, the epidemic was under control. Even if the British authorities' measures were well meant, they were widely regarded as acts of tyranny and oppression. Tilak took up this issue by publishing inflammatory articles in his paper Khazari, quoting the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, to say that no blame could be attached to anyone who killed an oppressor without any thought of reward. Following this, on June 22, 1897, Rand and another British officer, Lieutenant Aist, were shot and killed by the Chapka brothers and their other associates. Tilak was charged with incitement to murder and sentenced to 18 months imprisonment. When he emerged from prison in present-day Mumbai, he was revered as a martyr and a national hero. He adopted a new slogan, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." Following the partition of Bengal, which was a strategy set out by Lords Curzon to weaken the nationalist movement, Tilak encouraged the Swadeshi movement and the Boycott Movement. The boycott movement consisted of the boycott of foreign goods and also the social boycott of any Indian who used foreign goods. The Swadeshi movement consisted of the usage of goods produced by oneself or in India. Once foreign goods were boycotted, there was a gap which had to be filled by the production of those goods in India itself. Tilak, therefore, rightly said that the Swadeshi and boycott movements are two sides of the same coin. Tilak opposed the moderate views of Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and was supported by fellow Indian nationalists Bipin Chandra Pal in Bengal and Lala Lajpat Rai in Punjab. They were referred to as the Lal Bal Pal Triumvirate. In 1907, the annual session of the Congress Party was held at Surat, Gujarat. Trouble broke out over the selection of the new president of the Congress between the moderate and the radical sections of the party. The party split into the Jahal-Matavadi, led by Tilak, Pal and Lajpat Rai, and the Mavel-Matavadi. Nationalists like Aurobindo Ghosh, V.O. Kadamba and Pillai were Tilak supporters. Imprisonment in Mandalay. On April 30, 1908, two Bengali youths, Prafulla Charkhi and Khudiram Bose, threw a bomb on a carriage at Muzaffarpur, in order to kill the chief presidency magistrate Douglas Kingsford of Calcutta fame, but erroneously killed two women travelling in it. While Charkhi committed suicide when caught, Bose was hanged. Tilak, in his paper Khazari, defended the revolutionaries and called for immediate Swaraj or self-rule. The government swiftly arrested him for sedition. But a special jury convicted him, and the Parsi judge Dinshore D. Davar gave him the controversial sentence of 6 years transportation and a fine of Rs 1,000. The jury by a majority of 7 convicted him. On being asked by the judge whether he had anything to say, Tilak uttered these memorable words: "All that I wish to say is that, in spite of the verdict of the jury, I still maintain that I am innocent. There are higher powers that rule the destinies of men and nations. And I think, it may be the will of Providence that the cause I represent may be benefited more by my suffering than by my pen and tongue." The judge sentenced Tilak to 6 years transportation and a fine of Rs 1,000. In passing sentence, the judge indulged in some scathing strictures against Tilak's conduct. He threw off the judicial restraint which, to some extent, was observable in his charge to the jury. He condemned the articles as seething with sedition, as preaching violence, speaking of murders with approval. "You hail the advent of the bomb in India as if something had come to India for its good. I say, such journalism is a curse to the country." Tilak was sent to Mandalay, Burma from 1908 to 1914. While imprisoned, he continued to read and write, further developing his ideas on the Indian nationalist movement. While in the prison he wrote the most famous Gita Rahasya, many copies of which were sold, and the money was donated for the freedom fighting. Life after prison. Tilak had mellowed after his release in June 1914, because of the attack of diabetes and also the ordeals faced in Mandalay prison. When World War I started in August, Tilak cabled the King Emperor in Britain of his support and turned his oratory to find new recruits for war efforts. He welcomed the Indian Councils Act, popularly known as Minto Morley Reforms, which had been passed by British Parliament in May 1909, terming it as a marked increase of confidence between the rulers and the ruled. Acts of violence actually retarded, then hastened, the pace of political reforms, he felt. He was eager for reconciliation with Congress and had abandoned his demand for direct action and settled for agitation strictly by constitutional means, a line advocated by his rival Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Tilak saw the spark in Mohandas Gandhi and tried his best to convince Gandhi to leave the idea of total ahimsa, and try to get Swaraj by all means. Gandhi, though looked upon him as his guru, did not change his mind. All India Home Rule League. Later, Tilak reunited with his fellow nationalists and rejoined the Indian National Congress in 1916. He also helped found the All India Home Rule League in 1916-18, with G.S. Kapad and Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Annie Besant. After years of trying to reunite the moderate and radical factions, he gave up and focused on the Home Rule League, which sought self-rule. Tilak travelled from village to village trying to conjure up support from farmers and locals to join the movement towards self-rule. Tilak was impressed by the Russian Revolution, and expressed his admiration for Vladimir Lenin. Tilak, who started his political life as a Maratha propagandist, progressed into a prominent nationalist after his close association with Indian nationalists following the partition of Bengal. When asked in Calcutta whether he envisioned a Maratha type of government for free India, Tilak replied that the Maratha-dominated governments of 17th and 18th centuries were outmoded in the 20th century, and he wanted a genuine federal system for free India where every religion and race was an equal partner. He added that only such a form of government would be able to safeguard India's freedom. He was the first Congress leader to suggest that Hindi written in the Devanagari script be accepted as the sole national language of India. Social contributions. In 1894, Tilak transformed the household worshipping of Ganesha into a public event, Sarvajanik Ganeshotsav. In 1895, Tilak founded the Sri Shivaji Fund Committee for celebration of Shiv Jayanti, or the birth anniversary of Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of 17th-century Maratha Empire. The project also had the objective of funding the reconstruction of the tomb of Shivaji Maharaj at Raigad Fort. For this second objective, Tilak established the Sri Shivaji Raigad Smarak Mandal along with Senapati Kondiro Darpade II of Talagain Darpade, who became the founder-president of the Mandal. Tilak started the Marathi Weekly, Kizari in 1880-81 with Gopal Ganeshagarkar as the first editor. Kizari later became a daily and continues publication to this day. Tilak said, "I regard India as my motherland and my goddess, the people in India are my kith and kin, and loyal and steadfast work for their political and social emancipation is my highest religion and duty." Communal Nationalism. In 2010 Orient Blackswan published a book Foundations of Tilak's Nationalism, Discrimination, Education in Hindutva authored by Paramala V. Rao. A review of the book by Harish Wankhede in the book review states Tilak categorically opposed all brands of social change under the pretext of confronting colonial intervention in the sacred and internal domains of the religious order. The author goes on to show that Tilak has persistently argued for the safeguards of the moneylenders and opposed pro-peasant legislations and other measures meant for the empowerment. Books. In 1903, he wrote the book The Arctic Home in the Vedas. In it, he argued that the Vedas could only have been composed in the Arctics, and the Aryan bards brought them south after the onset of the last ice age. He proposed the radically new way to determine the exact time of the Vedas. He tried to calculate the time of Vedas by using the position of different nakshatras. Positions of nakshatras were described in different Vedas. Tilak authored Srimad Bhagavad Gita Rahasya in prison at Mandalay, Burma, the analysis of Karma Yoga in the Bhagavad Gita, which is known to be gift of the Vedas and the Upanishads. As noted in Sri Gajanan Vijay, he was devotee of Gajanan Maharaj of Shigain. Many reference texts of his are available in the epic. Legacy. The Kazari is still published as a daily newspaper in Marathi. The Deccan Education Society that Tilak founded with others in the 1880s still runs much respected institutions in Pune like the Fergusson College. The public Ganesh festival has become a central part of the culture of Marathi Hindu communities throughout the world. Increasingly, other Hindu communities are also adopting the practice. Because of Tilak's efforts, Shivaji, the founder of Maratha Empire, is the only figure from that era revered by contemporary Marathi masses and Hindu nationalist parties like the Shiv Sena. The Swadeshi movement started by Tilak at the beginning of the 20th century became part of the independence movement until that goal was achieved in 1947. One can even say Swadeshi remained part of Indian government policy until the 1990s when the Congress government liberalized the economy. Tilak's Smarak Rangamandir, a theatre auditorium in Pune, was dedicated to him. In 2007, the Government of India released a coin to commemorate the 150th birth anniversary of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Swami Vivekananda as fellow passenger. During his wandering days in India, Swami Vivekananda reached Pune by train during September 1892. Tilak happened to be his fellow passenger. Swami Vivekananda stayed in Tilak unregistered trademark S house in Pune for around 8 to 10 days. The name of that house is Vinchakawada. Later Tilak started the now famous public Ganesh festival in the same house. References. Further reading, Lokmanya Tilak, A Biography, by A. K. Bhagwat and G. P. Pradhan. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Gita Rahasya by Lokmanya Tilak. External links, Bal Gangadhar Tilak materials in the South Asian American Digital Archive, full and authentic report of the Tilak trial being the only authorized verbatim account of the whole proceedings with introduction and character sketch of Bal Gangadhar Tilak, together with press opinion, 1908, Narsana Chintaman Kilkar, Antiquity of the Hindu Calendar, an interactive aid to understanding the Orion by Bal Gangadhar Tilak by Kishore S. Kumar, author equals Frank Herbert Brown. Encyclopædia Britannica 1922a.